Speaker, what we have over there is inflation of liberal arrogance. Yes. Right now, he wants to tell Canadians that they've never had it so good when food prices are rising faster in Canada than any other country in the G7, when Canadian households are the most indebted in the G7, when Canadian housing costs are the most elevated in the G7, and when just today RBC reported that we have the worst investment in the G7. The question again is, Canadians cannot afford gas at the pump. Why not get rid of all the taxes for all?
All right, grab your double-double and settle into your favorite toque, because today we are diving into the most Canadian showdown since two people at Tim Hortons both tried to hold the door for each other for 45 straight seconds. Eh? That's right, folks. Welcome back to the channel, because today in the House of Commons, something happened that can only be described as a man asking about gas prices so many times that the Prime Minister genuinely, started grading his homework. Grab your mittens, folks, because this one's spicier than a maple-glazed jalapeno Timbit. Now let's watch Pierre Poilievre ranting off topic.
There's the new Liberal carbon tax that they call the fuel standard, and then they charge the GST on those other taxes. Because of Conservative pressure, this Prime Minister...
The honourable member for Hamilton, Ancaster, I believe it is far too loud during question period. Therefore, the honourable Leader of the Opposition may start from the top.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. There are three Liberal taxes on gasoline. Number one, there's the excise tax. Then there's the new Liberal carbon tax they call the fuel standard. And then they charge the GST on those other two taxes. Now, with Canada having the highest grocery price inflation in the G7 and paying 20% more at the pumps, we put the pressure on the Prime Minister, and he's partially backed down, removing only one of those taxes and only for a third of the year. Why doesn't he follow our full plan to reduce gas prices by 25 cents a litre by getting rid of all the taxes for all the year?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, what the government is proposing is to cut the excise tax, 10 cents a litre for gasoline, 4 cents on diesel. We've already cut the consumer carbon tax, 18 cents per litre. We are recycling all the excess revenues from higher oil prices to Canadians. What we are not doing is what the Leader of the Opposition is proposing, which is to substantially increase the deficit, something he's regularly against, by more than $3 billion, because this government can count, Mr. Speaker. This government can count.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
What he is not doing is increasing the deficit. It's only up by 100% since he took office, Mr. Speaker. Does he even read his own budget, or does he want Canadians not to know what's inside it? In fact, all the money printing that he does, because he's famous for causing inflation, he's made a career out of it. Statistics Canada has made it clear that the gap between rich and poor is now greater than it's ever been in a report published just this week. One of the biggest taxes on the poor is the gas tax. Instead of just removing a third of the tax for the third of the year, why not get rid of the entire Liberal tax on gas for the whole year?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, one thing I've learned in my economics education is you've got to study history and you've got to look at numbers. My record as a central bank governor is inflation less than 2% at the Bank of Canada, inflation less than 2% at the Bank of England. But let's get back to where we are today, which is wages in this country are growing at more than twice the rate of inflation, and I'll spell it out for the member opposite. That means Canadians are getting ahead.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
It's clear that he's learned all the wrong lessons. Not only did he cause the housing crisis in London, not only did he cause the worst inflation in the G7 when he was the bank governor over there, he advised Justin Trudeau to print money here, causing inflation. And since arriving in Canada, he's given us the worst food price inflation in the G7, the worst investment in the G7, the worst housing costs in the G7, the worst household debt in the G7. So why doesn't he learn his lesson from all the failed economic experiments that only benefit insiders with tax havens like him and get rid of all the taxes on gas for all of the year?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Mr. Speaker, I feel like I'm in the presence of students. And on an exam, I don't think you would pass the exam with those answers. Mr. Speaker, as the IMF confirmed yesterday, Canada will have the second fastest growth in the G7 this year. As the IMF confirmed yesterday, we have the best fiscal position in the G7. Point final. As we have confirmed, we have the highest foreign direct investment per capita in the world.
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Oh, the Liberal arrogance. You can cut through it with a knife. This is someone...
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition may continue.
We have Mr.
So here's the scene, eh? Question period. The one place in Canada where yelling is technically a job requirement. And in the ring today, wearing the "I have said gas tax 14 times and I'm not done yet" jersey, we've got our boy Pierre standing up so fast you'd think someone announced a surprise Costco gas discount. And across from him, cool as a Nanaimo bar left in the garage in February, we've got Mark Carney, sipping his metaphorical Tims like this is just another Tuesday in the economics classroom he apparently never left. Now Pierre comes out swinging, right out of the gate. There are 3 liberal taxes on gasoline. And honestly, folks, at this point we could put that sentence on a loonie. We could carve it into the side of the Rockies. 3 taxes, folks. Not 2, not 4, 3. He said it with the same energy someone uses to explain their fantasy football lineup to a stranger at a wedding, completely unprompted, completely convinced you care as much as they do. And get this, he gets so loud, so committed to his gas tax monologue that the speaker straight up interrupts him mid-sentence like a hockey coach pulling a guy who's been offside 4 times in a row. "The honourable member is far too loud," says the speaker, which, translated from polite Canadian into regular human language, means, "Buddy, we can hear you in Nunavut, please dial it back." And what does Pierre do? He restarts, from the top, like a guy who tripped walking into a room and decided the best move was to walk back outside and try the entrance again, hoping nobody noticed the first time. Then Carney stands up, and I swear, folks, the man has the energy of a substitute teacher who already knows the test answers and is mildly disappointed nobody studied. He calmly lays out, "Look, we cut the excise tax, we cut the carbon tax, here's the numbers, here's the diesel numbers, here's what actually happened." And then he drops the line of the century. "This government can count, Mr. Speaker." Folks, that's not a comeback, that's a group chat screenshot waiting to happen. That's the kind of line you put on a mug. "This government can count." Available now at a gift shop near you. Mug not dishwasher safe. Much like Pierre's talking points, apparently. But does our guy back down? Absolutely not. Pierre comes back even hotter, bringing up the deficit, bringing up inflation, bringing up statistics, throwing numbers around like he's hosting a very aggressive game of parliamentary bingo. Does he even read his own budget? He asks, which, folks, is a bold question to ask a former central bank governor. Kind of like asking a chef if they know how ovens work. And that's when Carney does the thing. The thing that had the internet absolutely losing it. He goes, and I'm not kidding. One thing I've learned in my economics education is you've got to study history and look at numbers. Which is basically the most polite, most Canadian way possible of saying, "Sit down, kid, the adults are talking." He brings up his own track record, inflation under 2%, wages growing faster than inflation, and just casually drops the mic somewhere between the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England like he's listing his LinkedIn achievements at a networking event nobody invited Pierre to. Now here's where it gets really good, folks, because Pierre, undeterred, unbothered, absolutely refusing to let this go, starts listing every G7 ranking known to mankind. Worst this, worst that, worst housing, worst food prices, worst investment. Folks, I think he's got the G7 rankings memorized better than his own postal code at this point. And Carney just looks at him and goes, "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear," like a disappointed teacher grading a pop quiz, and then says, with the driest, most devastatingly polite Canadian delivery imaginable, "I feel like I'm in the presence of students, and I don't think you would pass the exam with those answers." Folks, that's not a clapback. That's a report card. That's your mom writing "see me" on your test paper, except your mom runs the Bank of England. And Pierre, bless him, comes back with the liberal arrogance, gets so worked up the speaker has to step in again like a ref separating two guys at a beer league hockey game, and just keeps circling back to the same question over and over. Gas tax, 25 cents a liter, gas tax, like a Roomba that's found the one corner of the room it just cannot escape. Now look, folks, is this real politics with real consequences? Sure. Are grocery prices and gas prices things that actually matter to actual Canadians trying to actually get through winter? Absolutely. 100%. But is watching two grown men in suits go back and forth about liters and taxes with the intensity of a Stanley Cup Game 7 also deeply, deeply funny? Also, yes, this is satire, folks. This is parody. Nobody here is a villain. Nobody here is evil. It's just two guys who really, really care about how much you're paying at the pumps. One of them just happens to say, "Mr. Speaker," like it's a nervous tick. So that's today's absolutely unhinged trip through question period, folks. If you laughed even once, smash that like button harder than Pierre hit restart on his own speech. Subscribe if you want more of these Canadian political fever dreams, and drop a comment telling me which line got you good, because folks, this one wrote itself. Stay warm out there, and remember, no matter what the gas tax is doing, the Timmy's lineup is always, always going to be longer than it needs to be.